our Beechwood Board of Education June 9th meeting. Lori, would you like to do? Also, Dr. Stacy's last meeting.
Dr. Stacy's last meeting, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. Mrs. Berger?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mrs. Sleet?
Here.
Mrs. Wooten?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. No recognition of guests today. Everybody's on summer break, except for us, all of us. We're all here. Public comment? Anything up there?
No, no
Okay.
public comment.
We'll move right into discussion action agenda. Updated policies and procedures for 25-26, first reading. Well, we don't need a motion, right?
You do not need a motion. This is
No,
first
just
reading.
first reading.
So you won't do your second reading until July. Also, if you have any questions, you can pull something out, or if there's anything that, I'll try to hit the controversial ones, or the ones that we have internally made a recommendation for. We are asking internally for 5 things. Number one, that salaries, 3.121 under salaries. We are asking to implement a mid-year rank change. We have that currently in place for National Board. This would allow someone who is completing their master's or rank 1 in December to be able to move on up to that new rank mid-year. I think that's a good recommendation. 3.125 expense reimbursement, 3.225 expense reimbursement, certified and classified reimbursements be completed by direct deposit instead of hard checks. We've had several circumstances of people losing their hard check, and then that causes a lot more time for our finance department. It's not a big deal because all of our pay is done by direct deposit, so it's not.
Do we have anybody that gets
We don't
paper
have
check?
anybody that only gets paid by a hard check other than maybe a vendor.
It's definitely all direct deposit. It's just the reimbursement side is a different, like, modular system. You have to update the banking information. So what we're saying here is we'll pay them electronically, and we'll use the banking information we have on file for them, which is
To do that, okay.
that's all.
Yep.
Make it real simple and clean. Because we don't reimburse very many people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make it like something someone has to do manually, like fill out and give us banking information. Just if and when there is one, we can use that.
Policy
makes sense.
3.1237 and 03.2237, jury duty for certified and classified. They do not have to give us their jury duty pay. So it would not be double dipping to get their whopping daily rates for jury duty.
Wow,
and maintain that without giving it back to the system. Those are our internally 5 recommendations. The ones that we've starred to try to really make sure that you've highlighted that have been somewhat in the news, maternity leave. Would that be maternity, paternity, all the different things? We are recommending to wait. We have until 2030 to implement a policy that is minimum around the district's maternity leave. I know that some people are already jumping into that water. I think it's best to see what happens on the challenges of those new policies before we make that ourselves. Because do you just do maternity like the law? Do you do paternity? I mean, what if somebody has a kid in the summer? Does that qualify for a certain? There are a lot of different questions that would need to be answered. And with the 2030 implementation timeline, I think we are recommending that we wait at least another year to see what challenges come up with the systems who do implement said policies. The CEP, it's a 5-year summative. However, that's a very long time for a summative. So we're holding to our current evaluation, even though the timelines, even though the summative legally doesn't have to happen until year 5. The CEP committee met this year and also has those recommendations. So all that is already been approved by the CEP committee. A mandatory financial literacy credit that has to be put into play. I've talked to Mr. Yankee on my thoughts, but that'll be up to Mr. Kaiser, Dr. Schobel, and the high school to implement that for next year. But you want to try to put it somewhere where you're not adding, how can you embed that into existing areas would be my recommendation. The 1 minute, we have to have a policy on the 1 minute. It's a requirement based on new legislation. 1 minute moment of silence or reflection. So that policy is in there from KSBA. And then the big one that has gotten a ton of talk is a traceable communication. They're currently researching apps, but staff will not be able to text kids. There are a lot of questions around that one that I have. If I use a babysitter, can I text them in their babysitting role? If someone's dog sitting for me while I'm on vacation, do I have to use the school app? There are a lot of different questions that are going to need to be fleshed out with that. But that is a requirement from the state, at least from the time that in a school capacity, all communications have to be traceable.
And is that going to be, we need to have one platform that serves the needs for everyone?
My recommendation would be one platform,
Right.
But I think we're going with multiple depending on
It
what
doesn't
school
say.
and what areas.
How does
And it's
that,
for extracurricular as well as, okay.
It would be
So,
anything,
That's what I was
anything
wondering.
associated with the school.
Okay.
athletics and the different apps they use for that? Okay.
How much does that go on now? I wouldn't know, having young kids. Like, if practice is canceled on short notice, does the coach text or what? Yeah,
Sometimes they
Each
use,
sport
yeah.
has normally a different app
Okay.
that they use, and then they'll just communicate that way through the app.
But not everything that is currently used has traceable,
Yeah.
right? So
does that mean it has to be archived for a certain amount of time, or what does that?
I think it's archived for several, I would not be surprised to see some cleanup language on this one.
Yeah.
Because there are so many unidentified, as in many pieces of legislation that come through and move to policy. They're well-intended, but then there's so many different aspects that we could set and start having major questions about from an implementation standpoint. And like I said, we have a ton of kids that tutor, we have a ton of kids that babysit, we have a ton of kids that house sit. I mean, we have kids, we're in such a small community and people can walk. I mean, there are a lot of things that happen.
Or
that are
relatives
perfect.
an
I was
exception?
just saying, what do you do if
Nieces,
it's a
nephews,
relative?
like, yeah.
Yes. And then I think being on multiple platforms will make it more difficult, and are they going to require? I think it'll be hard to require because the more specific, and if there's any cost, then we get into, unfunded mandates, which boards tend to have a really difficult problem with. So what I've talked to Dr. Schobel, Mr. Kaiser about, find something, let's do our best to implement that from 8 to 3, and then try to see how some of the other things play out in cleanup language. There are a host of others. Most of them are pretty bland. I think you guys have had time to review those. I mean, there's nothing. Those are the big hot topics, for the lack of better way to say it. The one that also I would add to that is the moral instruction, 9.122. Students who are more offering at the time of a fixed period, you have to worry about, if somebody leaves for moral instruction, how that is going to be added into the instructional component. I think we have discussed that and feel pretty good about how that will be done here. then there are just some other, I mean, if you all have any questions, or I can just keep going. The one on cell phones, students are prohibited from using a personal telecommunication device during instructional time, except in an emergency or if directed so by a teacher. I know this is well-intended, but directed by teacher or authorized by teacher is, again, not much different than what we currently have. I mean, you're not allowed to use your phone during the day unless the teacher allows that to happen, so I don't really think that'll be much of a policy change for us. Any other questions? Like I said, if there's anything that you want to highlight, question, pull off, otherwise, that will be your first reading. You'll move into second reading next month with Mr. Kaiser.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. We'll move on to our next item, which is a motion to approve the BG3. Take a motion to approve it.
I've lost my place. Yes, I'll make a motion to approve it. I'm trying to get back from the,
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, so there have been questions. I'll try to go through the process just to make sure everybody is on the same page. BG1 is basically Board of Education highlighting and saying, hey, KDE, here are the list of items that we would like to look at to be done during the scope of the project. BG2 is basically all the different components of said project, from energy efficiency, exterior wall types, HVAC systems, all the more engineering parts of the project. That's why that's not on tonight, because Joe still has some more of the drawings to be able to finish, especially on the two structures and the drainage and some of the different components. BG3, make sure I say this right. A BG3 form provides this is where you get you have an estimate of the expected cost for the construction that has been reviewed by the architect and your construction firm. So they have a chance to go over, hey, here's what we want to do, here's our thoughts on what it would cost, but now you start to get drilling down into the more specifics on the expected cost. You still don't know until BG2 and BG3 are out and it goes out to bids. Once bids come in, then it comes back to you guys to whether or not you accept or deny the bids. Then BG4, BG5 are both steps of the closeout process. One is the project's done. 5 is Christie saying everything has been paid out, everything is finalized from the project is no more. So those are the 5 different BGs that outline the process. So you guys are now you got a little bit more advanced drawings, you got a little bit more advanced estimated cost. Then Joe will come back next month with the BG2. And then that you all can open it up for the bidding process. Bidding process, you're at least got 60 days for the bidding process. And then you're looking at, hopefully, if everything goes perfectly smooth, an October 1 start date, unless I'm missing something in my mind.
Were there any changes made since the last, Joe? Okay. Okay. So I know we talked something about, you mentioned taking out HVAC or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if, okay.
I think that's a recommendation from the maintenance department. They're saying that we've actually done so much work and changed out so many different parts that they think it'll hold. So I'd be more than happy to go on that recommendation. And you know, it's not like we're using all the bonding, so if something come up, you can always do a BG1 project just for something small. It doesn't have to be some major innovation. I've seen people do a BG1 to bid out redoing a gym floor. It's, if you don't have general fund money, I mean, typically, we were really close to that 10 years ago on the fields, right? But then he couldn't bond athletics at the time. But if you don't have general fund money and you have something that's a crisis, you can do a BG1 for anything that facility-wise. Right now with 678, if 678 ever goes away, then there's certain constraints that come back into what you can or cannot do, but it doesn't necessarily have to be anything, millions and millions of dollars. So you're going to see more, just one step up on more advanced drawings and one step up into a clear estimate on expected cost. And then that's when boards get really testy, and architects and construction people start really sweating, because if bids come back much higher than the estimated cost, right, people get aggravated, and if they come back lower, then everybody celebrates. But it seems like in 2025, we haven't seen lower. Joe, is that, am I right so far? I mean, yeah. I do worry. I mean, I think this one, there's a lot in this one that's coming off, that has state bid lists. So we've talked to different companies. We've got different pricing. I feel pretty confident on the estimated cost, but there's always who's going to bid, how many people are going to bid, so hopefully this one, without being such a strenuous job site, and pretty in stages, very stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, depending on the back of the building. It's not necessarily directly involved with kids, other than the beginning of the day and drop off and the end of the day for pickup. So I feel like it should be a pretty easy,
everything back there.
straightforward bidding process. So I think you're pretty close. And that's what you have tonight. You have the BG3, which is the more actual estimated cost for the different items.
Does that include the hillside, like pulling in the hillside? It does. And what about the stands that we talked to, like, any?
For
It does.
extra rows.
Oh, but the cost is in here. Okay.
And the
And
handicap railing.
handicap, railing, and handrails? Oh,
Great.
okay, okay. I don't remember anything else.
You all put 2?
Well, we're just looking. Well, you can never have enough bathrooms.
I know, but
You never can.
yeah, you never can.
I'm
It's
just
just going to
saying.
be you got to have gravity, or you got to have,
Well, we were talking about that.
yeah. I mean, you could put 4 restrooms up by the tennis courts and have a easier time of implementation than 2 down by the,
Doesn't that building up there have restrooms? No.
No.
And they're going to have, well, the maintenance building or whatever up there. Okay.
yeah, I mean, there's no harm in getting costs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be up there doing it,
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's more cost. to leave.
And we lengthened the concession stand.
So it's easier to just take it down?
Good. Yeah, I think that's great. And the length, was my concern. I think our concern, all of our concerns, to have more lines, to try to shorten the lines. Perfect. And then I think we talked about maybe an overhang off the one side for the grill. All right, perfect. Awesome. Any other questions? I mean, that's the process. You're now saying he's going to come back next month with more detailed drawings. Once that happens, then you'll decide whether or not you'll finalize the list. You can still finalize the list, right? My probably assumption is that you will take something off between now and then. You may not. But then once you finalize the list, then you approve to put it out to bids. And then you all keep your fingers crossed that the bids come back in a number one, good position for the board.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? I think I've reached my quota on that one. Okay,
You ready?
yes,
Mrs. Berger?
yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mrs. Slate?
Yes.
Mrs. Wooten?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries on to our next item, the consent agenda. We'll take a motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
I will make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, you all had a lot of minutes, you had a lot of work. So the 12th, 20th, I should say the 12th, was the regular board meeting, May 20th. Joint meeting with the Superintendent Screening Committee, May 27th. Special meeting, May 29th, special meeting. Monthly bills, same as always. Request for facilities. I do always try to tell you when one's out of order. NKY Young Marines has already had their thing on the lower field. I think that's fine. Y'all's Scout 2027 is asking to, it's Chris Curley's little group. Your standard leave without pays, your latest pay application number 35 for Phase 6B, and then 2 change orders. The change orders we didn't have any say on. They were both things mandated by the inspector. So handrails, concrete by the exit of the maintenance building, items that the inspector said we had to have that weren't in the scope of the work to be able to pass code.
Speaking of concrete, the front steps.
Yeah, there are 2 major items. I talked to Mr. Codell today and also Jeff. The wall of TVs and the front steps still have to be done. So all that needs to happen no later than June 25th when we do our walkthrough.
Okay.
Both of them are pushing back. Both of them will push back because it's going to be a loss of revenue, but they're not. Neither one of them are completed, and both of them are big ticket items.
Does the whole step, like all the steps have to come out, or just the bottom
I've
portion?
said from the time that they poured them, they need to take all the steps out and need to redo the entire concrete portion, not the brick portion, but the entire concrete portion of the steps. They need to come out. I don't think there's any way they're going to hold. Their patch job lasted, a month. They're going to have to take them out. And I've already told Mr. Kaiser, do not pay the contingency. Do not pay the contingency. Hold the 5% of the last payment because that is not acceptable product. It'll happen. It just takes you just got to go through a process. It'll happen. They just want to see if you're going to make it happen.
Did you say you had communicated that you wanted that completed by the 25th, or you want them to commit to doing it?
I want it completed.
Is there any way they can get that done in 14 days?
They can get that done in 2 days.
Really? I know nothing about pouring concrete of that size.
Concrete, it tears up easy, unless there's a lot of steel in it. But you bring enough guys, you can. The problem is it will take them, I should say, 4 days, right? The steel guys are going to have to come out, take out the handrails, right? Then they're going to have to tear out the concrete. Then they're going to have to pour the concrete, let the concrete set up, and then the steel guys are going to have to come back, drill new cores, and put the handrails back in. So you're probably looking at a solid week's worth of work.
And was it the weather and the time of year? What went wrong that caused it to be this way?
In my opinion, number one, their wood, what do you call it? Forms. Their forms were not correct. They were slanted, number one. Number two, they poured it entirely too dry. And when you pour concrete dry, it sets up faster. When it sets up faster, it's more conducive to cracks. Then they try to come in and sand, basically just grind it down to make the steps even. Well, the more you grind and mess with it, the more you mess with the structural integrity, especially if it's poured dry. I think the sidewalks that we've had a problem on both sides, I know that we put salt down on one of them way too fast, but they were poured too wet. When you pour too wet, the water comes up on top, and then it forms up and actually becomes really hard. But if you take something and hit it, it'll crack and pop, right? So you get in concrete troubles really quickly if you pour too wet or too dry. I only know this because I got those terrible jobs growing up. So it's an art. They messed it up, and it's a problem. I don't see any way that they can fix the problem. Therefore, they need to tear them out and redo them. That's what you paid for. You paid for safe and a high-quality step. You have neither at this point.
And was that done by Codell or a sub?
It's a sub.
A sub.
It's a sub. They're aware. I met with them today. I met in person with the owner today and told them that those were the two things. There's still several punches. I mean, we can see them right here. There's not covers on the two outlets right there on the balcony. There's a missing piece of trim on the back wall, right? We can see those, but those are easy fixes, right? Easy fixes, not a problem. The two main problems that I'm aware of are the front steps and the TV wall, because those are going to cost the sub money.
What's the story on the TV wall? I'm not even sure where that is.
In the student center,
the big wall?
big TV
Okay.
wall, one of the matching TVs is broken, right? So they've got to, that is a very complex system to install.
Has that worked yet? Has it?
But it worked, but it wasn't the way it was supposed to work, right? So anytime that you have something very complex and something's wrong, it's going to take time and money. Time and time is money. So the equipment and the time are going to have to be invested. So that's going to cost them on their revenue. But when you hold 5%, you hold 5% to the last on every piece of the bid project. You don't want to get into a spitting match in any shape or form, but at the same time, when the quality of work, and when it's a quality issue, when they're not meeting the required outcomes, then you have plenty of room to stand on to be able to hold contingency, and if they decide not to, then Mr. Kaiser has the option to hold that money, go out, hire another sub to come in and do it outside of the bond package and pay out the general fund. But I don't think when we get down, I don't think it'll be a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? You have anything else to add on this?
I do not.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Mrs. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mrs. Slate?
Yes.
Mrs. Wooten?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries on to information portion, superintendent's report.
We'll start from the back. We are putting as informational to be able to post the draft 2026-27 school calendar. You can only officially approve one at a time, but a lot of our parents look forward. We've talked about that. We don't anticipate making any changes. I think it would take something very egregious for us. What we're saying is it would take something very egregious for us to change that calendar. We're informing you that we're going to go ahead and put it on. Another informational item that's a non-voting item, Superintendent Search Screening Committee meeting minutes will also be logged, and we put it here because that's the easiest place to do that without a vote. SBDM meeting minutes. Finance report, we're down to one more change order to close out 6B. The only thing that should come through as a change order is the fireproofing of the lower hallway that was required by the inspector. Outside of that, 6B should be in good shape financially and as far as completion ready. So I will say that, and if we can get by without any more, then we met the completion by staying under budget and not drawing out of general fund. So that's great. I know we are over, but as far as the finances, we're great. So that would be my financial report on the construction. And finally, I would just say I appreciate the opportunity to be the superintendent for the last decade. It's been a heck of a run. Had a lot of successes, had a great team, had great people that not all of me are here tonight, but a lot of people have really worked hard to put us in the position where I'm really proud to hand over a quality product to the next superintendent. And I'm so tickled that we can transition into a maintenance role as opposed to change agent role. Change agents are very difficult and typically, ruffle feathers. But you got a black budget, you got a quality facility, sports have come a long way, academics have held, and we've added, I think, a great program that has a crazy ton of potential at the time. Had a lot of close memories and to preside over. So with that being said, it's been a great run. I sincerely appreciate what it's given to my family. The kids have got to graduate from a quality school system. I didn't miss, after getting in trouble one year for missing too many events, I didn't miss a single kids event. And as a dad, like that's like a super awesome thing that you can walk down and see all your kids' events. So very, very grateful for that, all those different things. So that's it.
Well, thank you from all of us and the district for all your hard work and for making this room we're sitting in happen. We appreciate you, and gosh, there's so many things. Over 10 years, it's a long time, right?
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. 10 years is a long time.
20% of my life.
A long time. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, been a good run. Been a good run. So we don't live forever. I've told Mr. Kaiser, please do not, old guy told me, do not think that you will be the one that can just do this job for 20 years, right? We don't make it that long. And I would say since COVID, it has even become more interesting. So congratulations to Mr. Kaiser publicly too. I think there'll be a ton of I'm just excited to see where the district goes, right? A ton of potential. All right?
Okay. All right, well, let's see. Where are we?
5.
Okay,
Agenda,
all right,
part of
okay.
Approve, make
Take a
an agenda.
motion to make the agenda part of the official board minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Byrne?
Yes.
Mrs. Slate? Mrs. Wooten?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other board business? No? I was going to say thank you at that time to
I know,
Dr.
right?
Stacy, but he jumped ahead of everything and had to get it all finished right then. But anyway, but we do appreciate you and thank you for your 10 years. It is a long time, so
Been a
thank
good
you.
run.
And we wish you all the luck in your next, we'll see you. You still live right here on Beechwood Road, so we'll still see
Still
you.
live right there on Beechwood Road. Won't see me at 4th of July, though. No, buddy.
No.
You want to park in my
No.
driveway?
Hopefully
You're
it's
more than
not,
welcome.
yeah. Yeah, oh, well. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
second.
Thank you.
All right. That's it.
Thank you.
All right.
It wasn't a record meeting.